You're watching WGS-TV.
Welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFXTV. I'm Billy Boudreaux. Got a host of people to introduce for you tonight. First off, he is back. He's been gone for a little while, but he has returned. It is the illuminous one, Rick Starr. Rick, how you doing?
Doing alright, and of course we are not alone. We got a bunch of guys with us. Billy, why don't you introduce the rest of them?
Alright, and ladies and gentlemen, also making his return to WGS-TV after being gone for a little while at Eurogamer. I'm pretty sure he'll probably talk about that on a future video. You never know. It's the Studley Man, Ashley. Ashley, how you doing?
Wow, I'm giving a bigger reception back than Jesus Christ. That's a bit awkward.
Yeah, I'll give you the golf clap.
Wow. From Rockin' Waves 11294, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Rogers is here. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Billy. How about you?
I'm doing all right. And ladies and gentlemen, from StokeHaunted.com, he is here. Our favorite paranormal investigator, here to say hi and talk Monday Night Raw with us this week. Our old friend Andy. Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I hope everybody else is doing fine too.
Well, we're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw for the week of October 8th, 2012. And, of course, last week we had a John Cena-less Monday Night Raw. So now with Cena being here, we had to open up with him. Because a lot of people are saying, when John Cena is not appearing at a WWE event, sometimes WWE offers refunds to their tickets, and apparently WWE didn't want to do that anymore, so lo and behold, they bring Cena in for this opening segment.
Got away with that rubbish.
Yeah, well, apparently, Cena was kind of a decent promo. It was about, I want to say about almost 5 to 6 minutes long, talking about, a build-up for him and Punk at Hell in the Cell. He still wants to go, even though he had a load of medical tape on his left arm. He was still in doubt of, whether or not he can still physically do a match after having that arm surgery. So it's still up in the air if Cena can actually go through with this match. But it's still, for Cena, he still cut a very comedic promo. Also came up with a new name for Team Hell No. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to go 4 out of 5 just for basic, pure entertainment value from Cena in this opening segment.
The weird thing about the tape where it was on his arm, it did look like Rock's tattoo.
Okay. All right, let's go to Ashley with the opening match.
Yeah, basically, as soon as John Cena left the ring, was walking up the ramp, Feed Me More rung out through the arena, and Ryback was coming on the way down, and turned out his opponents were Epico and Primo, because yes, it's a 2-on-1 handicap match, but at least this time they haven't got names like Simon and Garfunkel. But it's overall 3 out of 5, it's a Ryback match, you can guess who won, and yes, that is the Brooklyn Brawler.
Alright, next up on the docket is the master of the Rockin' Waves 11294, Chris. Chris, what's up next?
Alright, we have Brodus Clay versus what was supposed to be R-Truth. But little R-Truth comes out with little Jimmy, and they says he can't fight tonight because little Jimmy's balls is basically dropping. I don't know if we can say that on FX TV. Okay. Basically, little Jimmy's balls was dropping and totally rocking the world. And so instead, little Jimmy wants to dance, and so we start getting a very lame dance-off with Brodus Clay, the Funkadactyls, and R-Truth and little Jimmy. Although it's cut short when Vince McMahon appears on screen and tells them to dance their way off because it was time for the the State of WWE address.
Yes,
quote unquote, this storyline is absolutely crap. Get off.
Yeah.
Well, as Chris said, Vince McMahon delivered his State of the WWE address, and with his thoughts on it is the shining star, Rick Starr.
Well, yeah, and Vince came out and he went to go do his state of address, and it really didn't get that far because, of course, CM Punk came out and pretty much just got in Vince's face, and they started going back and forth about respect, which is the yada yada, the whole basic thing about past wrestlers and how he's, how he was no longer the spoke on the wheel, he has now become the wheel, and he's better than people like all the other wrestlers, and then of course Vince McMahon went back and saying no, he's better than people like Shawn. How dare you say people like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and of course he named big name that's been going around, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and of course that spun off another big argument. And obviously, I don't think we can all sit here and know what's going on now. We know that this is a big tease for a Stone Cold Steve Austin / CM Punk match at WrestleMania 29, or at least we think that's the direction it's heading. Nothing's been etched in stone, but even before CM Punk even got the title, even before he done this heel turn, there was even talk about it. But moving on. Anyways, CM Punk's been saying, look, you've been pushing me around and slapping me in the face all throughout my career, and of course, that's when CM Punk returns and physically slaps McMahon to the ground. He leaves the ring and thinks that's the end of it, and with a big smile on his face, of course, McMahon's not going to take that lying down, literally. Gets up and says, no, because you're going to fire me. He goes, no, I'll fire you if you don't fight me by the end of the match. And that was that.
Don't you mean by the end of the night?
By the end of the night, sorry. Thank you for correcting me. By the end of the night. So, basically, it was a good segment, but I think everybody kind of knew what was going down and how it was eventually going to happen. So, I give it a 3.5 out of stars.
Go ahead.
No, that was my segment. It was just very easy. It was a good segment. I would give anything more than 3.5 stars. It wasn't a bad segment. It wasn't a phenomenal segment.
Hey, Billy?
Yes.
I was just thought of this while Rick was mentioning it. Could this be mean that Stone Cold could possibly be a guest referee at Hell in a Cell?
It is something to think about. I mean, for 2 weeks in a row, we've had CM Punk taking all these kind of jabs at Steve Austin. I believe, Ashley, you read a few tweets of Steve Austin and his responses to what CM Punk was saying about him on Monday Night Raw, have you not?
Yeah, in Mexico for 2 more weeks, Punk is running down Stone Cold. Gonna answer his cyber promo with one of my own on his website, brokenskullranch.com. But then he also tweeted directly to somebody who I guess sent a message back to him, saying, if the son of a bitch was trying to get my attention, it worked. I am flying under no bogus PG ass rating either. So, kiddies, if you want to know what language is like, follow Steve Austin.
Yeah. I don't think this is going to be, I don't think Austin's going to be coming back just to be a special guest referee. I think he's looking to be in a match. The WWE would not bring Austin back for something like that, because every time they see Austin, what do they chant?
What?
No.
What?
Okay, I'll make it easier. What did they chant at him when he got inducted in the Hall of Fame?
One more match.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what they're going to do, is give them one more match.
It's worth noting to Chris that Hell in a Cell will be happening in Atlanta, Georgia.
I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up and kind of maybe made an appearance and maybe kind of gave him a stunner or something like that, but I don't think he's going to be a special guest referee.
And the theme to the pay-per-view is Fozzy.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
Well, as we get back to Monday Night Raw, the opening round of the semifinals was up next as Rey Mysterio and Cara, a team who, incidentally, by the way, is still undefeated as a face tag team, took on the primetime players, and that is the Black John Cena, Darren Young, and Titus, the Real Deal, who needs some sex appeal because he's ugly as sin. O'Neal. That's all I can think of. Give me a break. Anyway, this was a very interesting match to call because, on one hand, you got Mysterio and Sin Cara undefeated as a tag team, looking really good. And then we got the primetime players who are also a really good heel team and who also needed a good push. But then again, you got to look at what the other bracket is. And it's a matchup that took place later on tonight. We'll talk about it when we get to it. But Santino Marella and Zack Ryder taking on Team Rhodes Scholars. And, that was a no-brainer there. Again, we'll talk about it when we get to it. But, of course, you got to have a face team versus a heel team. It wouldn't make sense to have a heel team versus a heel team. But being that as it may, I think it was still a very nicely worked match with the Mysterio and Cara and primetime players. I think both teams look strong in this one. I'm going to go 4 out of 5. Up next, Ashley, we had a barrage taking on a Great White.
Yeah, England versus Ireland. So, no Americans are involved in this match. #yes. So, Wade Barrett was actually finally getting a decent match rather than a jobber match in taking on Sheamus, but Big Show did decide to rear his head in this, and also I think we saw an appearance from Tensai, or basically he's the panda guy from World of Warcraft. Just he's taking his panda suit off. I don't know. But yeah, Sheamus won via DQ, I think, because Big Show... Was it Tensai that caused the DQ?
Tensai.
Or was it
was Tensai. It was Tensai who called the DQ.
Yeah, Tensai.
But Big Show, in retaliation, punched the hell out of Sheamus.
No, he went for the bro kick and caught it and threw Sheamus over the top rope. And when the Sheamus went on the outside, he landed head first. His head bounced off that floor.
Oh, there was no WMD involved. That's a shame.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He was just showing him that he could block his kick and just toss him over and just walk out with a big smile and say, gotcha.
Or just put him in the cloverleaf then.
Well, go ahead.
But overall, I'd probably say 4 out of 5 because it was a good match. Even it loses probably half a mark for having the DQ kind of thing, but it was a very good match compared to considering the fact that the previous 3 matches, one never happened. One was a Ryback match and the other was a tag team.
Well, up next, Chris, on Monday Night Raw, we had Rosetta Stone versus Natalia's Love Toy.
What?
Otherwise known as Antonia's Little Caesars and Tyson Kidd. And, yeah. And apparently we find out that Antonio hates nachos. So, anyways, we see basically quickie 1, 2, 3. Antonio Cesaro beating Tyson Kidd. I really didn't see nothing special in that match. I have to give it a 2 out of 5 only because of that nacho segment.
It's not pronounced
because it got me in the mood for nachos.
It's not pronounced quickie. It's pronounced quiche.
Quiche. Thank you. They had a quiche sheet. A quiche 1, 2, 3.
Quiche. I did it.
Better than
I did it for the tacos.
Mind if I give a little bit of feedback on that match?
Go ahead.
I actually thought it was a pretty good match. I knew that they were going to put over Cesaro, but I thought Tyson Kidd actually did quite a great job. I mean, I knew that he was just going to be used as a stepping stone, but I thought he did pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we have the World Tag Team Champions in action as Team Hell No. No, I'm the Tag Team Champions. No, I'm the Tag Team Champions. Daniel Bryan and Kane taking on... taking on Dolph Ziggler and Alberto Del Rio. Again, my only disappointment, no Ricardo Rodriguez on commentary. Come on, WWE! He was great last week on commentary. Even Michael Cole said he was great on commentary last week. So why not have him again? But again, WWE must have their thumbs up their butts, thinking, okay, it wasn't good last week. Well, at least we don't think it was good last week, so we're not going to put him back.
Ranjit Singh is writing.
Why would we have someone that can't speak English on commentary?
No.
Well, he was good last week.
What they didn't have him this week is there was already 3 people on there. Having him.
Oh yes, well yeah, you got a point there. But still,
Ricardo Montalban can't speak English.
But dude, he did last week on commentary.
Oh, he actually did?
He did an awesome job.
Oh, really?
Yes.
He did.
As far as this match goes,
oh yes, he can. That whole it's a gimmick.
What is the reason people all is what Spanish football.
To hear go.
Yes, to hear the commentator go goal. Diarrhea.
Also, you can also hear that whenever two Spanish people are playing chess.
Wow.
Anyway,
back to this tag match. This is, again, a nicely worked tag match with Team Hell No, Ziggler, and Alberto Del Rio. A lot of rough spots, a lot of tough bumps taken by all four men in this ring, especially Del Rio. When he went for a spot, he ended up jumping through the ring, and I think he landed on his head on the outside. I'm not too sure, but he really crashed and burned on the outside, and poor Dolph Ziggler ate a kick in the back of the head from Daniel Bryan, and a choke slam from hell from Kane, and that's how the match finished. But it was still a nicely worked match, but a lot of rough bumps were happening on this week's Monday Night Raw. I'm going to go 4 out of 5 on this one. Rick, you want to talk a little bit about Jim Ross talking with Vince McMahon backstage?
Pretty much he was just trying to, I guess he was trying, Jim Ross was back, trying to talk him out of it, just saying, hey, look, I'm just here as a friend, saying, you really don't need to do this. You've already proven everything that you've done, as far as in the past. He was also thinking, of course, reminding of what happened with, Jerry Lawler, and he was thinking of that, and he's like, look, after he fought, CM Punk, Jerry Lawler, had a real-life heart attack, and, they kind of brought that into the storyline a little bit. Was it needed? Yeah, I guess, it probably wasn't, but I could see where they were going with it and why they used it. Mm-hmm. So, and then of course, Vince, kind of, stirred away from it because it was just, saying, well, he goes, well, because I'll take it, just don't worry about it because I'm going to be fine. And he goes, I just want you to hear that one more time because I want to hear you go, McMahon. And of course, that's when JR did it for him, and he did the whole spiel for him, and that was pretty much the end of the segment. Good segment. I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Chris, up next, we had a talk show host whose wife is probably 40 years younger than him, with a new talk show host who's a champion and a fake Jamaican.
Yep. We had Larry King basically come out and do his show, which I didn't even know he had a new show. Then I found out it was on Hulu, and that was why I never heard of it. Larry King now is the name of his show, and he does it on Hulu Plus. The music interrupts, and out comes the Intercontinental Champion, The Miz, and he basically says that today is my birthday, and he wants Larry and his wife to sing happy birthday to him. Basically, King tells him to go F himself, and King says that he's going to replace a boring guest with a more exciting guest. Out comes Kofi Kingston. And Kofi comes out and talks gibberish. And basically Miz does all this insulting and stuff and ends up with a wet front. No, not because Larry King's wife actually did something.
Keep it clean.
It was because Larry King's wife threw a coffee mug of water on him. And then a brawl breaks out between Miz and Kofi. Goes to backstage. Larry King leaves. I have to give the segment 1 out of 5.
Really? Well, can anyone say Intercontinental title match coming up on Friday Night SmackDown? Ashley, your favorite new tag team took on a mediocre mid-carder face tag team next.
Yes, the epicness of the Rhodes Scholars taking on Santino and Zack Ryder, which, when you've got a tag team that look to be like a tag team, and the other two which just seem to have been drafted together, because one has because they both have YouTube shows.
Yeah.
Not a good sign. So the Rhodes Scholars got the win, and go on to the number 1 contenders final, which I guess is happening on next week's Raw, probably. And the winners will take on Team Hell No.
Yes. Now, Billy, you obviously, unfortunately, we talked about this earlier about heels and heels facing faces. We know what's going to happen here. Unfortunately, we don't. Do you really see Team Scholars, winning over Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio?
I honestly do, because considering the fact that before the tag team tournament started, the only reason why Team Rhodes Scholars was even mentioned or even formed was because of an attempt at a feud that was starting between them and Team Hell No. So it's quite possible that we could be looking at Rhodes Scholars winning over Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio. It's a possibility. I'm not saying it will happen, but again, it's a possibility to think about. You never know.
The problem is, if it does move into heels and faces, what the hell do you put Team Hell No in? What do you pigeonhole them as, sorry, should I say? Are they heels or are they faces? Because they seem to be getting both reactions from the crowd.
Well, there's a term for that in the wrestling industry. Cody Hawkins is also very familiar with it too. It's called hard face. Where you kind of like splitting the difference. You can be cheered and booed at the same time. So maybe we can, for right now, classify Team Hell No as a hard face tag team. It's just again another thing for everyone to think about. Another.
Indeed.
I am evil. Anyway, speaking of things that were evil, we had the Divas Divas title match up next. We had Eve Torres defending against Caitlyn. Why? I don't know. But we had Layla on commentary, and she seemed to be going at it with JBL back and forth about the whole conspiracy thing with Caitlyn being attacked at Night of Champions and Eve's true involvement in that whole scandal. I say scandal because that's what it is. It was still for a Divas title match. It was okay. I'm giving them a little bit more credit than I should. But at least they're trying to set something up now with Eve Torres and Layla. Layla, like I said on my SmackDown review, she and Alicia Fox actually impressed me in their Divas match. They were actually really good. So put Eve Torres, who was mediocre at best, against Layla, who honestly is not only hot, British, but above mediocre. We could have a decent match. I'm not saying too much about it, but as far as this match goes, I'm going to just say 3 out of 5. I really can't think of anything else to say about it.
Isn't it obvious to attack Caitlyn?
Yeah, it's the lady who gives Undertaker rigor mortis down there.
No, it was Kelly Kelly. That's why she got fired.
Oh
no, wait, that's because she pisses and sinks.
We're gonna bring in everybody on this last match, the main event between Vince McMahon and CM Punk. What?
We forgot the other Larry King moment.
Oh yes, that's Chris. You want to talk about that moment?
I thought
because He-Man's old enemy showed up.
Huh?
He-Man's old enemy showed up, according to Kane.
Yeah, it was a backstage promo. Larry King was obviously walking out, and Bryan caught them and says, "Look, they keep calling me Goatface. What should I do? Oh, by the way, I'm pretty sure your wife would like to go out with me." And basically, she snubs him. And the great thing is, when Bryan came in, he said, "Call her from Aberdeen, Washington."
Yes.
So, and that is where Bryan was from.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, when next up he said, "Oh, no, you caller from parts unknown." It's like, yeah, that's Kane, isn't it? They panned across it was Kane. And then they just had a rant. And they started going, Bryan and Kane started going at each other. So, with that, Larry King fled like, I don't know, fled like the Indians in the standoff against Billy the Kid. It was a thing. And then, oh look, Larry's gone. And then Kane goes, "Larry, I thought that was Skeletal." Now, if that's the case, does that make John Cena He-Man?
Oh,
if so, DC Comics are going to be suing because their Superman just got called He-Man.
Oh God.
But ladies and gentlemen, that's what made the ridiculous.
Yes. Or as Rob Drydeck would say, ridiculousness. We're going to bring in everyone to talk about this main event on Monday Night Raw.
I thought Triple H was He-Man.
Oh, God.
No, Triple H.
The Barbarian.
Yeah, Triple H was Conan the Barbarian.
He-Man.
No, Triple H was Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, is he? He always had that logo. I always thought he was He-Man. You know, look. Okay.
Well,
If there's a He-Man, who's She-Man?
oh God, we're gonna leave that one alone as we bring in.
China.
Oh God, as we get set to talk about this.
I'm gonna say Stephanie.
Oh jeez. As we get
Not
set
that bombshell.
on that bombshell, we're going to talk about Vince McMahon taking on CM Punk. Now, it's something we talked about on Skype, and it's something I'm going to go on the record and by saying on here. Every time we have an appearance by Vince McMahon on any Monday Night Raw, it always ends up in an epic segment. And whether it's a segment, match, or anything, something really, really epic was going to take place. Andy, I want to bring you in because you've been, kind of silent, but you might be a little bit violent on talking about this. What were your thoughts when you first watched this match, and your thoughts during this match?
I just don't know where Vince gets his stamina from, to be perfectly honest. I really just do not know where he gets it from. What is he, 65, 66?
Somewhere around that age.
And he can still go. And I can honestly say he's the only person on the WWE roster that comes out and gives 100% every time he does actually have a match. Doesn't matter who he's having a match with, he always gives it 100%. Probably not the best match you'll ever watch in your life, but he always gives it 100%. I can always guarantee you're going to see a good match with Vince.
Andy, by the way, Vince is 67.
67?
Yeah.
My God. I
Wow.
wish I could go like that when I was 67.
So wrestling matches at his age and Hulk Hogan.
Actually, it looked like in this match that CM Punk stiffed McMahon on quite a few shots. I mean, we saw blood to the ear. We saw a gash right underneath his left eye. I mean, one got to think that's got to be incidental. I mean, I don't think Vince McMahon would want to blade himself underneath the eye.
No, it was kind of similar shoot fight kind of thing. That's what it felt to me, because just looking at it, it was because the way that he went at him, because he threw him over the table, didn't he?
Yes.
And the way he went at him then was seriously, because he was hitting something with a microphone, because you just heard all the time. And it was just, yes, it was a very interesting match. If you look at it, the third hour has always been suffering in the ratings. How do you bring that back? If it's for pound wrestling, it normally works, so we'll have to see what happens when the ratings come out.
Chris, at one point in this match, we kind of had, if you think about it, WWE versus ECW.
Yes. CM Punk being from ECW originally. I do agree.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what happened with McMahon and Paul Heyman.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah. I do agree with you on that, because outside the ring, while CM Punk was out of it, actually he was on the ramp demanding his title, Paul Heineman had it, and basically Vince McMahon laid Heineman's ass out, and yeah, basically what...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
When you said WWE versus ECW, I thought you meant Paul Heyman as SmackDown General Manager and Vince McMahon as the ECW Champion.
Oh, Lord. I wonder how many people remember that reference. Rick, soon after that, we had a Singapore Kane standoff between Punk and McMahon, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Again, they were not holding back. They were just, solid shots by both men. It was a really good, solid match. Like you said, I mean, as far as a technical match, not one of the best, but, it was just a fight. Like I said, it was just a good old shoot fight, and it was a good, 100%. I loved it from start to finish. For a man who's 67 years old, you can't, hold nothing against the guy. Vince McMahon is truly an entertainer for what he's done, and, I was expecting it to end the way it did. So
That's what we'll talk about next. As the finish came when CM Punk was attempting to go for the go to sleep on Vince McMahon, and next thing you know, we hear "Feed me," and out comes Ryback, who's looking either for CM Punk or a tasty Subway sandwich from Jared, the guy from Subway. He attempts to get away from Ryback, does CM Punk again. Then out comes John Cena out of nowhere, one-armed. Again, keep in mind, one-armed because he can't use his other arm because of that arm surgery he had. Punches Cena in the stomach and with one arm puts it back into the ring, where we see Ryback clothesline CM Punk, gets him up for the shell shock, his finishing maneuver, and Punk was able to escape and run like the Dickens out into the crowd. And then we get Vince McMahon on the microphone making the last statement. Huh, Ash?
You may have, you probably got your just desserts in respect tonight. But now I throw down the gauntlet. At Hell in a Cell, you've got to choose who you're going to face. Is it going to be Ryback? Or is it going to be Cena? Or is it going to be Stone Cold? Or is it going to be Sting?
Oh, God.
Two of those names aren't the actual
I also said Ric Flair.
Okay. Or maybe Ric Flair's second wife.
Yeah, with the domestic stuff that's happening in Flair's household, I'd be more of a match against Flair's wife. Or any of his ex-wives.
Something to note about the promo, too. McMahon said either Punk chooses next week or McMahon will choose for him. So this was indeed a fantastic way to end Monday Night Raw. 5 out of 5 for me. Overall score Monday Night Raw this week is going to get a 4.5 out of 5. I love the Cena segment. The Ryback, Epico, and Primo, the only thing I really cared about this match was seeing Rosa Mendez jump up and down, and we did not see that. When R-Truth...
kill for Billy.
For Brodus playing R-Truth, I really did not need to know that little Jimmy was going through puberty. Amazing segment with Vince McMahon and CM Punk building to their match that happened at the end of the night. Great tag match with Mysterio, Cara, and the Primetime Players. Great match with Sheamus and Wade Barrett, and again we see more stuff leading and building into Sheamus and Big Show for Hell in a Cell, the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm just surprised that Sheamus doesn't come away with like a slight concussion from landing on his face after he gets his bro kick blocked and Big Show tosses him over the top rope. I mean, yikes, that was a hard bump. Antonio Cesaro, Tyson Kidd, like Rick said, Tyson Kidd, even though it was a jobber match, he still made it look good. Team Hell No and Dolph Ziggler and Alberto Del Rio. Again, it must have been a night for everyone to take rough bumps on the outside because Ziggler took one and so did Del Rio. But then we had a great stuff with Jim Ross and Vince McMahon backstage. I love that. Larry King, now, how in the world do you have that woman who's 40 years younger than you as your wife? I will never know. Again, we might be seeing something...
Honey.
Yeah, you got a point there. Miz and Kofi Kingston, we might have an Intercontinental title match. If not on Friday Night SmackDown this Friday, then possibly next week on Monday Night Raw to build up into something between those two. Rhodes Scholars and Tina Morel and Zack Ryder is a little bit predictable, but again, it was still the right team to come out on top because if Santino Morel and Zack Ryder would have went over on the Rhodes Scholars, I would have stopped watching WWE right there. Eve Torres and Caitlyn, again, it was okay at best, but I'm more interested in looking forward to what they're going to be doing with Eve Torres and Layla and see if we can actually get a finish to this somewhat lame storyline with Caitlyn being attacked at Night of Champions. And again, whenever Vince McMahon is involved on a Monday Night Raw, it is always an epic show. And it did turn out that way with the great finish in that match with McMahon and CM Punk. 4.5 out of 5. That's my overall score and my thoughts on it. Ashley, I want to start with you. Your overall score and thoughts on Monday Night Raw.
4 out of 5. Overall good show, but it did lack from a couple of segments where it really seemed to be more like watching some kind of psychedelic drug film from the 1960s.
Well, let's go to the Illuminous one, the Shining Star, Rick Star. Rick, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week?
Like I said, I was focusing on a few other things, but in general, I thought some of the matches were alright. Some of the endings were a little predictable, but I'll say it was a better show considering Vince was on. I think they are definitely trying to push for that third hour to be a little bit better. I thought the Larry King thing was not really needed, but nobody's perfect. And I'm definitely liking the way the tag team tournament's shaping up. I'm definitely Rhodes Scholars is definitely my favorite.
Andy, what are the ghosts and all the paranormal activity are telling you about Monday Night Raw this week?
I would give it 4 out of 5. My only complaint is I don't buy the Ryback gimmick. I think they're pushing him before he can walk. They're making him run before he can walk. That's my opinion on that one. And something that we've overlooked, I only just thought about it as we were sitting here chatting. We all seem to think now, we've got a week now to worry or to think who CM Punk's going to fight. It's carved in stone and was carved in stone about 3 weeks ago who he's fighting. It's John Cena. That's a definite. It's not even going to change because John Cena promised everybody in the ring he would be in Hell in a Cell and he wouldn't be a referee. He would be taking part in a match in Hell in a Cell. That's carved in stone. Cena has never gone back on his word. He's fighting Cena in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, it's
definitely.
I agree with you, Andy, 100%.
And let's go to the
Cena's
Master.
never gone back on anything that he's ever said.
Yeah, good point there, Andy.
I personally don't think Cena's fit enough. If it's a legitimate injury, which it supposedly is, I don't think that arm would be fit enough to have a really good match. So I don't even think the Hell in a Cell match is going to live up to the hype. But the only thing that really concerns me is Ryback. The gimmick just doesn't sell. He comes over to me like an Ultimate Warrior. No one's seen him have a decent match. His matches are over within 5 or 10 minutes. How is he can carry a main event off? Because he's just got no stamina. Got loads of muscle, no stamina.
Alright, let's go to Chris.
Yeah, Andy, I'd like to agree. If I can even add on to that,
go ahead.
Cena's injury, I think they're making it a lot more than what it really is. Like I said before, I'm sure they've taken a few, chips, out of it, but, I think he's gonna be fine. If he was not ready to even have that match, they would have not set the match. He would have not, like you said, Andy. He would have not said, "I'll be there." Because the doctors have probably already said, "Yeah, you know what? We're gonna set you up for this. It's 3 weeks away. Right now, we're just gonna make you look like you're injured and hurt, and we're gonna say we're not sure." I think they're just gonna make him look hurt and play hurt. So that way, it's like another uphill battle for Cena. I think Cena is going to be 110% when he walks in that cage. No questions about it.
And finally, with his thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week, Chris Rogers. Chris?
I thought it was a very good Raw, especially a lot better last week when basically all we got was shit. I'll have to give it a 4.75 out of 5.
What we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. Please put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. And please don't forget to subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZepXTV Network. So for the Studling Man, Ashley, the Illuminous One, the Shining Star, Rick Star, the Otherworld Expert, Andy, and the Master of the Rockin' Waves 11294, Chris Rogers, I'm Double Beaverly Boudreaux, saying thank you very much for watching.
#feeding for catcher.